Welcome to week 16 Q&A with Coach. How you guys doing? You know, we still riding this wave of high from beating the 49ers 33-19. Good film to watch. Some good stuff offensively. Lamar from the second quarter on was out of this world. Defense gave up some stuff earlier, but was typical bend but don't break. Then we figured out what they wanted to do and got after them. The interceptions helped, but it's part of football. So we had a shaky start, bounced back, got it together. And I'm here to answer your questions up until 7:15, which will take you to lunch break hot take show. And so that's what we're gonna do for the next 27 minutes or so. So if you hit the pin comment and you can post questions over there, I get them directly on a different screen. And once I get all of those, then I'll come back and try to do the chat box. But if you really want me to get to it in order, and definitely before that this time frame is up, hit the pin comment and post it over there. Now, I know it's an issue with it on the phone. I know Reg knows how to do it. I don't know like what the issue is, but I see I got 3 questions over here so far. I got one from MDT Sports, Clock, and Kevin Redline. So I'm going to jump into them first. And as you get your questions, just post them over there. Do it like that. All right. So first question, it says, how can the Ravens go to the Super Bowl and win, Coach? So the easy answer would be to say continue doing what you're doing. But I think, and I'm gonna do offensively and defensively. Offensively, I think we now have a foundation. It really hurts more than you guys know, losing Keaton. Because that was, anytime you lose a home run threat, it hurts your offense. Because that kid can score from anywhere on the field. Anywhere. But now we just got to, our execution has to be top of the line. And it wasn't bad. There was a route that Bateman ran that didn't count that I really, really liked. It was on time. He had nuance to the route. The pocket held up. It was a good throw by Lamar. So we got some concepts that have post-snap adjustments in them that should work against most coverages, which they are starting to do that well. But offensively, we just have to click on all cylinders. We can't have, like the start we had versus San Francisco, we can't have that all the time. Because we were fortunate enough to get those interceptions to keep us in the game until we got our stuff together offensively. Defensively, continue to mix stuff up, man. Make guys process stuff after the snap. And the fact that we do so much stuff post-snap is crazy. And the fact that they know it. They all know it. They all know what each other's supposed to be. Mike mentioned them being accountable 2 years ago when he took off. Or a year and a half ago when he took over, I'm sorry. Everybody know what everybody's supposed to do. And now you can hold each other accountable. And that's what them guys out there doing, man. They flying around. They doing multiple things. Multiple coverages, multiple fronts, multiple twists and stunts up front between different people, between defensive end and nose tackle, between nose tackle and linebacker, between both backers. They moving defensive ends to tackles and moving defensive tackles to ends to create a different pass rush matchup. He doing a bunch of stuff on the defensive side and really just build on what he's done so far, because he's done an amazing job, and hopefully we can keep him. I don't think so, but hopefully we can keep him. So that's what it is on that. Second question. Can the secondary maintain this aggressive style of play against Miami? And that's from Clock. Can the secondary maintain this aggressive style of play for Miami? Yes. I think that they have to, because if you allow Tua time, well, he's going to get it out quick anyway. So you got to kind of play, I ain't going to say close to the line of scrimmage, but within a reasonable, you can't play 7-8 yards off because they throw hitches all day. And then as soon as you miss Tyreek or Waddle, if Waddle even plays, they're gone. Or even Berrios for that matter. So you're going to have to play, you're going to have to press some, unfortunately. You're gonna have to play some catch man some. You're gonna have to play a lot of zone. You got to get in those RPO throwing lanes to make him have to beat you over the top. Because if you give him the RPO lanes and the quick throw lanes, and he can still beat you over the top, you're in trouble. But I said I'll let to say this. Because of the numbers they put up, you think Miami is a passing team. They really not. They want to run that ball. They want to run that ball and get you up around the line of scrimmage, then throw it over your head. They really want to run the ball. Raheem Mostert got 21 touchdowns or 20 touchdowns, something like that. He only had 19 his entire career up until this year. He got 20. And I still don't even think he their best back. I think A-Chain the best back. So we going to have to, you can't, scared money don't make no money. That's what we at defensively. So we're going to have some aggressive plays and play aggressively. Now, with that being said, potential to get beat some, yes, it's there. It's there. Is the risk worth the reward? It kind of depends on where you are in the game. And that's when your situational football comes in handy. That's where your coaching comes in handy to make different decisions. You got to play risk reward on that how aggressive you're going to be. But you do have to be aggressive. You can't just play back and let the Dolphins offense dictate what you're going to do. All right. Next one is from Kevin Redline. He says, what are your thoughts on this theory? He says, my theory is that Lamar isn't running as much to buy time for the receivers, but to save energy. I've noticed the last 3 games that he was running toward the end. So I think early in the year he was there. He was staying in the pocket sometimes too long to prove that he's a passer. Now, I don't think he has to prove anything to anybody. I think that before this season even started, he was obviously a better passer than he used to be. But then that narrative was still out there that he's a running back or he's a guy that can't beat you from the pocket. So I think early in the season he was trying to prove to doubters, pundits, fans of other teams, and even other teams in the NFL that he can do it from the pocket. And in the process of him staying there to try to prove it, he's figured out how to maneuver the pocket without necessarily leaving it. He got the shoulder turn down pat. He got the step up, keep your eyes down the field. We all know he can escape one way or the other. And the O-line seems like they're starting to know how to block for him better. And I probably could show you that better on tape, but it's like when you got a guy that you really don't know where he's gonna be at, it's a certain way you got to try to force your people every time. That way he can know where his escape lane's at. Because if you blocking it different every time, and sometimes you force him inside, sometimes you force him outside, the quarterback don't really know where his escape lane's at, and it's gonna be tough on him to kind of get out and still keep his focus down the field. But they're doing a better job of it. And again, the O-line this week, we had 2 sacks, but I think that was exceptional effort by them. Maybe some individual plays in there where some guys got beat and whatnot and didn't work. But the O-line as a whole, great job versus them 6, 7, 8 guys on the other side. And just to name some of them guys: Bosa, Chase Young, Hargrove, Armstead was out, so not Armstead, Kinlaw, Gregory, Fred Warner, and Greenlaw, I think. Bruh, that's tough. Because I forgot they even had Randy Gregory. So it is what it is. Next one is from Xavier Smith. Good evening, Coach. Does the lack of scheduled passing on schedule concern you? No, it don't. If we had a standstill in the pocket quarterback, that will concern me. But we play our best off schedule, honestly. Now you do need those scheduled throws like the one to Bateman that didn't count, obviously. But it doesn't worry me that we don't have them because they're mixed in there. They're just not as frequent as maybe a Jared Goff or a Matthew Stafford. So you got guys like that, you're going to have your own time, own schedule stuff. But with Lamar, as long as you got some in there and they happen when they're supposed to, or they happen frequent enough, because those on schedule throws will get you what they designed for. Them off schedule ones will get you explosives. And I mean 20 plus more plays for y'all. So it don't bother me. Um, let's see. Very likely. Can you turn the mic up, please? Up, loud as it go. If I turn it up any louder, it's gonna be in the yellow. It's gonna be in the yellow. Paul says, Coach, you doing? Yes, I am at 1. Yep, I will be doing that at 1. 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. It's a shame that we didn't get flexed. It's a shame that we didn't get flexed. Shame, shame, shame. All right, let's see what else we got. Come over here. Save. No, he already sent that. Oh, this is the first another question from Xavier. He says, "Good evening, Coach. I watched Kurt Warner's breakdown on Lamar Jackson." Oh, that's answered. Okay, got that. Let's see. Where else are we at? No problem. No problem, X. No problem. No problem. So, while we get another one, I want to talk about Kyle Hamilton. And I got a question for you guys here. Do you think Kyle Hamilton should be in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year? That's a huge question. Do you think Kyle Hamilton should be in consideration for a Defensive Player of the Year? I think so. Maybe not to win it, but I definitely think so. And I had his stats up here, but I closed it. Let me pull his stats back up real quick. Go to Baltimore. Defense. There we go, defense. Kyle Hamilton. All right. So Kyle has 63 tackles. Well, 81 total. 63 solos. 3 sacks. 10 TFLs. 4 picks. 13 passes defended. And a forced fumble. That's what they would call in basketball a stat sheet stuffer. He's getting you sacks with 3. He's getting you INTs with 4. Getting QB hits, tackles for losses. You got 10 tackles for losses as a DB. As a DB, got 10 TFLs. Also, so to let you know that he's not just playing around the line of scrimmage, he got 13 pass defended. 13. And again, let's think about 2 of his interceptions. The first one where I forgot what team it was, where he jumped up, batted the ball, caught it, and walked in the end zone. How many people you know that play football that can do that? Not just in the NFL. That's basketball type stuff. That's basketball type stuff. That's not normal athleticism. To be able to move like that at 6'3", 6'4", and to be as versatile, because he's definitely the most versatile player in the league on defense right now, in my opinion. Because you could technically say Kyle's a slot corner, a deep safety, and a linebacker. You could really say that about Kyle Hamilton. And ever since that fiasco last year versus the Dolphins, he's gotten better and better and better. And this year, he's been lights out. Been lights out. It's crazy what he does for the defense. Clock says, I think so, but Roquan hits. You're right. Roquan brings a different type of energy. Roquan is he's a leader. I wonder if they knew he was that type of leader before they got him. Because I knew of Roquan playing for the Bears and how good he was. But I didn't know this leadership side of him. Like, was he like that in Chicago, or did he realize I can't take this for granted? I got to make the most of this opportunity. He kind of evolved into the guy he is now. Because that son gun, he different now. Roquan's different. We got 2 more questions over here. The next one is from Jared. What are your thoughts on Brandon Stevens' growth? Good question. And I've said this a couple times over the past couple of weeks. I think Brandon's our best corner right now. Marlowe had a good game last week, but if I'm looking at totality of the whole year, I think Brandon's our best corner. And yes, some people catch on him and he give up some stuff, whatever. But what DBs don't? What DBs don't? Brandon Stevens, to me, is definitely a Pro Bowl corner this year, and I don't know what his target rate is, like catch percentage. Maybe I need to go to PFF and try to find that. But as much as he was targeted at the beginning of the year to now, it ain't just it used to be find 21 and throw it at him. That ain't the case no more. That is not the case anymore. Find 21 and it might be a pass defended or batted up for somebody else. Captain came a long ways, man. Like he was one of my question marks going into the season. I don't question him anymore. Next one is from Rain. How long you been doing YouTube? I've had a channel for I used to do videos for my players way back when YouTube kind of first started, like 09 or 10. If you go back to my beginning videos, they of my old players. I was doing 7-on-7 and game highlights and stuff like that. But as far as for content, like with the Ravens, 2019, I decided to do it the year we drafted Lamar, and been going from there. So 2019 is when this new way of YouTube. That's kind of how I started. But I've been had a channel for a long time. Jared dropped another one. He said, I was nervous about our secondary and defensive pass rush depth during the preseason. Your thoughts on that? Oh, again, pass rushers too. I talked about this a little bit. Van Noy. Who'd have thought, man? Van Noy has come in and given us, let me pull Van Noy up real quick. Van Noy didn't play the first 4 games, I think. Maybe first 5, something like that. He got 7 sacks. The man is in reach of 7 sacks. Didn't even have a team when the season started. Off the couch university, as he said. Then you look at Clowney, 8.5 sacks. Probably should be 12 or 13, but 8.5 sacks from Jadeveon Clowney. It's man, just to have these older guys to come out and do what they do. And we talking about pass rush, but I can't forget Chuck, the coach. I really didn't know much about him before he got there. I heard people call him Dr. Rush. I'm like, man, whatever. I believe it when I see it. But he's working with Van Noy, working with Clowney, working with Matabike, who's sitting at 12 sacks. It's obviously, and a guy that don't even have a lot of sacks, I'm gonna talk about him too. Owe only got 4 sacks. But y'all, if you don't think Owe is a completely different player than he's been the past 3 years, you're kidding yourself. He may not get the sack production that we want, like from a guy that came in with that much talent. But if you think he's the same player he's been the past 2-3 years, he is not. He's a different player. He hadn't got the sacks, because when they trying to get away from him, they just kind of go to Clowney or they go to Van Noy or Matabike is getting up the middle. So he's getting pressures. I think we have pressures on here for Owe. They don't have pressures on this site. I'd have to look at PFF to look at his pressures and whatnot. But I know he's getting pressures. I know Clowney is one of the league leaders in pressures. They don't always translate into sacks, but it is what it is. And again, Clowney should probably be at 13 or 14 sacks, honestly. Should be. But yeah, I'm impressed with Dr. Rush and how he's helped them guys get better at their craft. And whatever drills he did or doing with them, or just by motivating them by speech or something like that. It's whatever he's doing, I like it. Continue to do it. JB3 says, do you think we should explore more options outside of Justice at the running back position? Who's out there though? That's my thing. Who's out there? I don't know. Like, I mean, we got Melvin, and I think Melvin's better than anything that's out there. So I mean, like I said, like I mentioned earlier, I hate losing Keaton because he brought a different element to to the game. That like you say, you could be first and 10 from your 20. So you got 80 yards to go. Your simple opening play could be inside zone. Just simple inside zone, 2x2 inside zone. And if one guy misses, he's probably outrunning the other 10. We didn't have no other back on the team that was like that. JK wasn't even like that, honestly. JK could bust big long runs, but he ain't had that track speed to like just run away from people. So like I said this a bunch of times. When Keith Mitchell would get the ball, I might be like this. But when they hand it off to him, I'm sitting up like, ooh, almost. Almost every time he touched the ball. Just waiting for him to make one person miss and be gone. And it ain't been like that other than when Lamar run. So to have two guys that on your team that kind of would get you on the edge of your seat every time they take off, it's gonna hurt a lot. It's gonna hurt a lot. Let's see what's next. Kevin, he says, I think every struggle the Ravens have had made them focus despite the success. Do you think they will maintain that focused aggression and energy? You got to. In this league right here, being passive, being soft, like prevent. Think about prevent defense. Anytime somebody been in prevent defense when the game was close, a lot of times it prevented them from winning. A lot. Now you go and prevent when you up 2 or 3 scores. That's understandable. But you in a close game and you go prevent, a lot of times it prevents you from winning. Think about 13 seconds from 2 years ago with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills thought they had it, went full prevent. Bam. 30 yards down the middle, then another 20 yards down the middle. Chiefs kick a field goal with no time left. Prevent prevents you from winning, so you just got to stay aggressive. Whatever your plan is, stay in that plan until it's for sure a dub. Jay says, if the Ravens draft a wide receiver with their first rounder, is Bateman out of here, or is he just going to lose snaps? Really, because I don't want y'all to get Keon Coleman or Neighbors. I don't know how we're going to work this out, but the guy that I think is out of there, if we draft the guy, that's even if we draft, I doubt we do, but the guy that I think is out of there is probably Beckham. Especially if we go on to win the Super Bowl, I think Beckham's probably out of there. I think Beckham shuts it down if we win the Super Bowl. I do. I just think his body ain't where he wants it. And if we win the Super Bowl, I think he might go ahead and call it quits and do his thing. But I say that I don't think we're gonna draft the wide receiver. We got too many other holes. Appreciate it, Paul. It said Ravens seem locked in, coach. Iron sharp as iron, they're feeding off each other. Definitely. And that's the best way to do it. The best defense is going against the offense every day, and that's how they're gonna get better. You probably gonna have struggles early, but as long as you get better, when you're going against the best defense, it's gonna look like that. Just think about it. Look how much better Dallas got offensively. They're going against the top tier defense every day in practice. San Francisco going against a top tier defense in practice every day. So you got a good defense on your team. A lot of times your offense is gonna show that. And you think about the Jets too. If the Jets had a quarterback, they got weapons. They move the ball too. So any team with a really top tier defense that had to go against that defense all camp long, your offense should be better off because of it. Should be. But that's just 4 examples right there. Is Owen Wright any good? Never saw him in the preseason. He's big, Chubby. He's like a fullback really. He's a wing team like the I back. You know how the wing team you had your 2 little quick guys as wings, and you had your fullback personality right behind the quarterback that kind of get the dives and stuff like that. That's what Owen Wright was.
Respect. It's a respect thing.
Appreciate that 10, Paul. Appreciate it. Next up, Keaton was nearly in the longest. Yep, exactly. Attitude Pop says, do you think Lamar could have scored on that scramble? And you see how Lamar ain't even running at full speed. Oh yes, I think he could have scored if he was going full speed. But I talked about it in the video from earlier today. Even when he was changing directions, they weren't those real quick cuts. They were just progressively. He just turned. Like, cause Fred Warner was busting his butt trying to get to that sideline. Lamar saw it and just turned the other way. And some people say he pointed at him. I didn't see that. Some people say he, like, when he turned on Fred Warner, he pointed at him and kept going. I ain't see that. Did y'all see that? I didn't. But I'm gonna have to go back and check it out if he did. But yeah, he cause he's so balanced. He's so balanced. Another dude that be taking ankles, and we don't talk about it a lot, is Zay. Flowers be taking ankles too out there. He took Fred ankles on a little screen pass, little bubble pass or whatever, and man, they so balanced that they jump stop just like in basketball, and then they go left or right, and you just don't know which way they going. And they got that quick twitch, that first step speed on them, so it's hard to get them down. Let's see. Jerry got another. He said we all talked about this during your call-in show, my show, and the other brothers' platforms. Where Todd realized that the option run should be the last resort, especially putting. Yes, should be, because and the reason I feel like that, I don't feel like it should be a last resort to call it. I feel like it should be a last resort to protect Lamar from himself, because Lamar is going to pull that joint if he got any sliver of that he think he can be. Lamar don't even be honest with you. Lamar don't even read it like he should. Because he knows he's so much better than some of the guys playing defensive end that they'll sit there, he'll still pull it and outrun them for 3 or 4 yards. So I wouldn't call it as much to protect Lamar from Lamar. But playoff time, hey, everything out the window then. Everything out the window. Next up, we got 2 more. Then we're going to jump over to lunch break hot take. We got 2 more. No, we got 1 more. This is the last one. From Sodarius Clark. This is the last one from Sodarius Clark. Appreciate it. He says, will the Dolphins do cover 0 all again? I don't know, Clark, because the guy that did that is in Minnesota now. I know they still have a lot of the same personnel. They don't have their good defensive end Phillips that went to the University of Miami. I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if we're the type of offense that they want to do that to. Now, I'm sure it might be mixed in some because they had success doing it. But I sure don't think it's going to be their go-to like it was, 2 years ago when they did what they did to us on national TV. That was. They kind of embarrassed us on national TV that night. Just playing cover 0, running the same blitz over and over again. A ton of people did a ton of videos about it, and they never adjusted. And we had problems with it the next year too. I think we finally got it figured out. Finally, after all this time. Finally got it figured out. So, with that being said, it's 7:15, man. I thought them dudes had a show. Maybe they don't. Maybe they enjoying the holiday. But that's my time. I appreciate you guys for coming through. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. And if Lunch Break Hot Take does have a show, that's where I'll be at for the next 2 hours. Again, my video with all 22 will premiere at 9:15. So make sure you check that out. The video with all 22 will premiere at 9:15. Shout out to Darwin's Ravens, Paul Mack, T. Sills, Super Brother, Banks Law, JB, Nerone. Who else we got in here before we get out of here? Again, Paul, appreciate the 10. Clock, Tone, Daniel Berry Sports. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Agent E, what's good? Jared, Killer Cam, Rain, ZX, Be More Facts, Banks Law, Sean Paul. One more time for the one time. I'm out, y'all. Peace and love.